Greetings, animators. You have a client project in your hands. This is very challenging. This will test your abilities to animate a character, how to integrate After Effects and logo animation, and then meet deadlines for a client that is not your teacher, who needs your help right away and is relying on you so that they can move forward with their business. This is going to be probably have a different name, but right now it's Project X, TheVillageChicks. So this is a client that I've been talking to for a while, and they have a need. They have an animation need. I think this would be a great chance for you to show what you got. So I'm going to open this up. This may be modified, but there's 3 things in there now. There's the questionnaire that I hand the client, and we talk about what they need. There is an asset folder, and then there's a folder for you to upload your final video draft for them. I want to make sure everybody's successful here, even if you aren't confident as an animator yet, that you can complete this and get your full points regardless of how you actually do. What I'm looking for is completion on time. That's how you do well. If you complete this and turn it in on time, you'll get 100 points, which is full credit. There will be some finalists that are chosen, and then a winner that's chosen. And you can see these are basically, you'll get 100 points plus additional points and additional things like donuts or gift cards. However, the worst thing you can do is turn things in late. Late will be penalized. If you're late, but your work's complete, you'll get docked 25 points. And that's for the rest of the semester. And then if you're late and incomplete, but you do turn something in, I'll give you half points. So turn it in complete on time. What does that mean? Well, you're going to turn in a .move file. We'll be rendering from After Effects actually at the very end. And you're going to turn it into Classroom so I can grade it. And then this draft folder so the client can see it. You got 2 videos or 1 video to upload to 2 places. I don't need to open that twice. There we go. This is a little bit of question and answer that I went through with them. You can read through this. Again, it goes over like, how do I complete my project? What are they looking for? Some deliverables. So we'll go over that in class. So just some information for you. Complete. Let's talk about that. We have 4 things. There's a character that they're going to give you. They want it to walk in. They want a speech bubble to pop up. They want some text to appear. And then a logo is going to animate behind the chick, this little character. They want you to render out a .mov file at the very end. And again, I need it in 2 places. There are some specifications here that are going to help you get them the right type of file. So you have to follow these. And we're going to be talking with them. So this video is recorded before the meeting, but we'll talk with them and you can refer back to it later. Off to the next folder. This is an asset folder. I'm going to view this as icons here. This is it's nice to know a little bit about the company. So it's a singing duo, and they make videos for their duo. And they have this little character. We often get handed projects that are interesting that we wouldn't even know about, but this client has some needs. They have this little character that they use on all of their stuff. And they just have a picture right now. They put the little graphic on there. They want it to walk. They want you to bring it to life. And they want this little speech bubble to pop up. They also have a logo. So I'm just going to open one of these. There's a PSD file, which is what you should use. And then there's a couple of other ones, but I'm just going to double click this. They want this logo to appear at the very end. They've also given you a storyboard, which is right here. This is laid out by the client. They've drawn it for you. They've given you several panels of what they want the kind of the action to look like. So we're going to start on black. We're going to see this chick walk in. Notice it's facing sideways. It's going to stop. It's going to turn its head. It's going to have this little speech bubble pop out. It'd be nice to have his little beak open up if you can do that. And then the logo is going to come in right after that. Now there's some variation of how we can do the end part. They wanted the chick to walk off. I said that might be a little difficult. So they might want you to fade out the chick instead. If you can do a walk, great. That's what they want, but that's additional work. Okay, there's all your assets. That's what the client wants. Let's move forward with the parts of actually making this. I'm not going to make every bit of this. I'm just going to show you some little pointers on how to create it and what it could look like. So first of all, I need to download this file. So I'm just going to go to the little download button right here and download the JPEG. This is all I'm going to work on right now is the character. Okay, I'll minimize. So we have Moho up over here, and I'm going to make a new file. Now, when you make a new file, this is another thing I'd like to show you is how to make sure that your document size is correct. When you make a new file, it just makes a new file and you don't know what the specs are. So actually, let me go back to my deliverable section here. This is exactly what the client wants, and you should try to follow this as much as possible. 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames per second. This is what we need to make the character in. MP4, actually that's MOV, in about 10 seconds. So there's going to be a little extra at the end. All right, how do you change it? In Moho, you go to File, Project Settings, and then you can change these proportions here. 1920, hit Tab, and that changes for you by 1080. Frame rate, I would set that to 30. A little bit more to play with there, 30 frames per second. If yours doesn't play back very well, we can change that to 24. I've experimented with that a little bit. We'll see. And then frame rate of 30, we need 10 seconds, so I need to change this to probably 300 just to make sure I have enough footage. Okay, nothing really changes. The timeline down here might change a little bit, but that's it. Next, importing your work and starting to build your character. So we've done this twice. We've done a machine. We've done a character. This is your third attempt at it. You should know kind of how to import and what your preferences are. I would use View, select Tracing Image, find your sketch, and bring it in and start illustrating your character. Notice some qualities about this thing. This is somebody's logo, and you don't want to change it a whole lot. You want it to look as close as possible to their logo. There's some line thickness issues or qualities to this line. They're not the same around the outside. That's stuff that I would look at. It has feet. There's a little beak. There's sunglasses with a little shine on it. So build it however you wish. If you want to have the knees bend, then think about how you're going to do that. There's several ways to go about that. If you want to have the wing flap, put it on another layer. Do you want to have the beak open? Maybe that's a switch layer. So, and there's a little, tuft of feathers right here. Do you want to have that move? What do you want to have happen in your character? And you're going to start building it. One thing right here, this speech bubble, you could make that as a shape pretty easily, but the text needs to be the same exact font and the same artwork. So I've actually tried this out and I felt like that was a little bit much to ask of you. So I have created a file for you to download when you're ready for this. And I'll show you how to make these things appear. This is an SVG file that you can import into Moho and it'll remain vectors. So this is a resource for you to use. All right, back to Moho. So your first job is to illustrate. You don't have to sketch. They've already done it for you. Your second job is to rig. You're going to rig a walking character. And then your third job is to animate this character walking across the screen according to the storyboard. And then fourth, you'll export this. And then finally, you'll put it into After Effects. They want the logo to appear, and what you do with that is up to you. Okay, I'm going to open up one of my project files here. So I'm on frame 0, and the bones on this one look a little different because I'm in a newer version. But here's what I've done. I have a bone for the head and a bone for the neck. I have a bone for the body. I have the main control bone, and you can see that the legs are bending. Don't worry about them bending backwards. We can fix that. I have the knees bending, a little bone for the tail, bone for the wing. The little head thing moves there, and then I have target bones set up, and then the feet can move independently. So I've set this up exactly as we've set it up before. let's see, we have some IK stretching 1.5 on the leg. So these should all look kind of familiar. That's how I chose to set it up. You can do whatever you want to. I've chosen a mixture of layer binding, which like the glasses. The glasses are a layer. They're bound to the head. And let's say the body itself. This is done with point binding because I want the neck to move on a separate bone than the body. So I've mixed my techniques. And then a beak, I did a switch layer. I felt like, well, I want him to open his mouth a little bit, so I set that up on a switch layer. There's the regular beak, and then I made a new layer of an open beak. So you can try that. You don't have to. It's just a nice option. Okay, so this is my fully rigged character ready to animate. And next I'm going to show you how to animate a walk cycle, how to size this layer, and then how to hide and show some artwork, because we'll need to have this pop up, and then how helpful onion skinning can be. All right. So I'm going to open up another file. This is the same file, same rig and everything, but there's no animation. And I've made a marker for myself at 2 seconds that says walk done. And the way you do that is you click this little marker right here, and you type something in, and you hit OK, and it puts a marker right there. That gives me an idea of the timing that I want to work for. It's just a nice to have. Okay, the second part is sizing an entire layer. In Moho, we have folders, like bone folders. We have switch folders, and we have layers of artwork, and we might have a picture or SVG file. All of these are layers. So think about layers in After Effects. You can move every one of them, right? You can do the same thing in Moho. I'm actually going to go to my very, very top level. And this tool right here, Transform Layer, moves, rotates, and scales layers, like the whole folder. So what I would do is I would, on frame 0, just get this thing smaller and refer to your resources. This is the storyboard, oops, right here. And this is my first frame. Look at how small this thing is compared to my frame. So it's going to be about that big. If I zoom out, it's about that big. You choose kind of how big to make it. Your client might have some feedback for you if you're one of the finalists, but I'm going to make it about that big. That's my starting point. And I'm on frame 1 for some reason. I'm just going to copy and paste that to frame 0. There we go. Okay. Next is the hide and show layers. I want this Chicks Dig Me and this little speech bubble, which I have on separate layers. There's my bubble and there's my text. You can put them on the same layer or different layers. I want to hide them for now. When they pop up, I want them to be visible. To hide something, double click on your text or on your layer and check visible. Now it's not going to be visible. This red indicates invisibility. I'll need to do that with the bubble as well. Okay. And now neither one of those. Let's see. Oh, I have duplicates. I'm not sure why. I'm going to delete those two. Okay. There we go. Now they're invisible for the time being until I'm ready for them. Okay. That is our characters set up, ready to go. You have hide and show, you have imported, you have rigged it. Now it's time to animate this thing. And one of the asks from the client is that the little chick walks in profile. So you see the side of the chick, and then it turns. So I'm going to show you two things. One is how to do a little bit of a head turn. It's just basically moving the points of a layer or the layer itself. And then the next thing I'll show you how to do a walk cycle. Okay. So Let's do a walk cycle first. This button here is called onion skin. If you haven't tried it, definitely try it out. I'm just going to go to frame 1, and I'm going to make my pose frozen. I'm going to do bone freeze pose. So I get keyframes. Make sure my auto keys is on. Control F freezes all the bones. Okay, this is my starting point. My head, though, is kind of to the side. So I'm also going to change that. I'm going to freeze this, Control F, and then the glasses as well, Control F. I'm freezing the points. You can do this with a layer or points. So there's 2 ways to go about this. And notice right down here, there's keyframes that I just froze, and then there's keyframes on frame 0. Frame 0 keeps the information that we started with. Frame 1, I'm going to modify. I need that information on frame 0 later, so it's important that it's there. But my first view, this character needs to have a side view. So I'm going to take my Manipulate Points tool and just change this so it looks like this character is kind of maybe looking to the side. You could simply do that. I think that would work. I'm going to grab this mouth or this little beak too. So go from frame 0 to frame 1, and we've made a change here, but we're gonna have like this profile view coming through. I think that works right there. It's nice and simple. You could modify the artwork too if you wanted to. Let's say if you wanted to take these 2 points and make them go like that, or maybe the glasses are a little less thick here and they're thicker here. So you can modify it as much as you want to. You still have frame 0 information to go back to copy and paste from. Okay, cool. We got a profile view. We'll animate that in a second. Next is a walk cycle. Walk cycles have several parts to them, and they're challenging. First, I need to go to my layer that has my bones. Next, I'll go to frame number 1, grab my Manipulate Bone tool, or the letter Z, and I'm just going to strike a pose for my little chick where I think it's going to start. So he's going to be like here with his legs kind of crossed, like as if he's starting to walk. This is, of course, off the frame, so it's not a big deal that I get this one exactly right, but that's where I'm going to start. Okay, the first pose after this one is going to be the next step. So I'm going to go forward, I think 6 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 2 things you got to do. Move the foot. Don't worry about it if it's not stuck to the ground. And then move the body. I am holding shift down because I want things to move horizontally. All right, what does that look like? It looks like this little slipper is slipping. That's fine. Okay, I'm just going to do a few steps. I'm going to do one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Foot slides over to the right. Body slides over on top of that. I'm also noticing the bend of the legs is a little funky, and we'll fix that. Okay, I'll do one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, there we go. So we got 3 steps. He's just kind of sliding. The next step is when the feet pass each other, they pick up. When you pick up your feet, you go to the next step. Also, the body comes up a little bit. So I'm going to go to the 3rd frame. 1, 2, 3. And I colored these feet, so I know which one is which. This one is passing. So I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to pick the foot up. And this happens sometimes, this bendy thing. I want the knee to be forward. So second tool, grab the calf, zoom in here, and click and drag to the left. And notice it flips. And if you find a frame where it's not cooperating, you can fix it too. I would fix it early. That way that keyframe kind of behaves itself. So I would actually fix it earlier than I fixed it, but that's okay. Because you want less keyframes. All right, back to this frame here. I'm going to undo my last one so my timeline is cleaner. Right here, the duck also moves up. Okay, so we have foot comes up and the body comes up and then back down like that. Okay, I'm going to introduce onion skin now. So this button, onion skinning, is very helpful. I want to see the poses that I've done in the past. So if I click this button here, there's all sorts of options under here. Relative keyframes, the onion skin is going to follow your mouse. Turn that on again. This indicator right here can be clicked on and off. You can also activate multiple frames if you want to. Let's just do one. I have mine set to frame 1. This is the pose in red on frame 1. I'm on frame 7. This is my pose. It should look similar, but just forward in time. So I'm going to use that as a reference. I'm going to go forward 3. 1, 2, 3. Here's the passing pose for frame 3. I'm going to try to match that. So I'm going to bring my blue leg up. Again, that's not looking too hot. Bring the body up like that. Trying to match the height of the head so it's consistent. Okay, so I'm going to watch this. There's step 1. There's my onion skin. Step 2. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to turn on off this other onion skin because that's a little too much for me to look at. Passing pose. Up. Flip the leg if you need to. Try to match the height of the head so it doesn't look too weird. Now your duck is walking. You can also add some style to your duck. You can have the head bob if you want to. He's supposed to be a really cool duck. So think about how you can do that. What are you going to animate there? He's got a wing. He's got a little feather up here. He's got a whole body that can, kind of move like that if you want to. This will be the challenge for you. Is how do you make it look cool? All right. I'm going to turn off my onion skin. I'm going to go forward to this point in time right here. Actually, I'll do it right here, just as a demonstration. The last part you'll need to do is have the duck turn and the little bubble pop up where he speaks. The first thing I'd like to try is the head turn, and it's just the layer points moving. It's kind of this fake 3D. So at what point in time are you going to do it? I'm just going to do it right here, just for demonstration purposes. Let's say this is the end of my walk. I know there's a weird purple line in the middle, but let's say, I don't know, around 12 frames is when I want to start the head turn. For you, it's more going to be towards when the character is in position. It's probably right before it stops walking. So right here, I need to freeze this pose. Control F. I'm on the layer for the glasses. I'll do the same thing with the beak. Control F. Notice I get, oops. I got keyframes now. Okay, so I got keyframes for both layers. And what we can do is go forward in time. Let's say this head turn takes 10 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know. Might be too slow. We can always adjust it. We have the information from frame number 0. I'm just going to drag right over that. Control C, Control V. And notice it pastes that information there. So if we watch this back, the beak is going to look like it's going to turn. I'll do the same thing with the glasses. I'm going to grab frame 0 information, Control C, Control V. And then let's watch this back. There's your head turn. That's all you got to do. You don't have to do anything crazier than that. Of course you can, but you don't have to. The next part is the chick needs to say the line. I'm just going to do another little tiny step here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do a little kind of. Let's see, blue one's passing like that. So maybe he stops right there. And then he wants to speak, right? He's got his little line. So here's, at this point, you can have your switch layer if you chose to do that. You can also animate the points on that layer. So on mine, I'll show you in a second, I did both. I switched it and I animated the beak. It's a nice little touch, but that's all you got to do is just open the beak. If you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. I thought that'd be kind of a cool touch. Now we need our layers that were hidden to pop up. So we have these two layers. You can see they're kind of gray. They're hidden. We need to have them show up. I'm just going to double click and hit visible, visible. There they are. They're not in position, so I'm actually going to select both layers and grab my move tool for the layer and just put them in position like that. You can also rig these so that they follow the body if you want to, but I just want them to show up. And now that you can see this little keyframe right here, this one shows visibility. If I scrub, if I'm on my top layer, if I scrub here, here's my walk, here's my turn, beak opens, and there it is. Having it just pop up is fine. You could also animate this bubble if you wanted to. You could animate anything you wanted to. So make it cool, make it interesting. And maybe the beak closes. Right click, change switch layer. Something like that. Okay. The last part is, let me make sure I got all the parts here. Markers. Okay. The last part is getting this thing out of Moho so that we can use it for the next step in After Effects, because this is really only part of it. Remember, they want a logo and they want a black background. Those aren't here. You can do this in Moho, but I'm not going to show you that because that's not good practice. We're going to export this and put it into After Effects. So if you want to use Moho, ask me to show you and I'll try to do that. Here's my animation that I made as a test. A little head bob. I'll play that one more time. I'm trying to use squash and stretch. I'm trying to use anticipation and follow through. I'm trying to use timing, staging to slow things down. I have a little animation for the bubble coming in like that. So I'm trying to put little touches on it. I'm ready to export. All right, so I only want to export, well, I want to export everything, 300 frames. What I'd recommend, since we can't save files with transparency, I would recommend going to File, let's see, Project Settings, and then changing your background color to a really, really bright green that we can key out in After Effects. And then export animation and just export it to your normal MP4 file. And you're going to render it. So I'll hit render. You should see this thing rendering here. It's going to have this crazy green background that we can key out. That's the easiest way. There's other ways to do it, but I think this is the smart way to go. Okay, all done. My video opens. Here's my video. And then I have all this stuff. On the end, it's a tail, just in case I want some extra to give the client. It's always good to do. All right, close that up. We are done with Moho. And next, I'm going to pop open Adobe After Effects. And I'm going to finish this up. All right, so we have, while this is opening, we have a logo. So we have a PSD logo, and then there's like a sample thank you card and some other stuff. But this PSD logo, this is the one that I want. I'm actually going to download that one. This is a layered file that gives you opportunities to make a cool animation, kind of motion graphics, back to that sort of stuff. Let's see, After Effects, hide all my stuff. There we go. All right, you can do it. You're almost there. No, I don't want to do a survey. Okay, I'm going to do a new project, new composition, and follow the same specs. 1920 by 1080. We've done it a million times. Frame rate, 29.97. Duration, I would make this 10 seconds long. So I'm just going to change that. Should look like that. 10, so 1000, and then probably give it a better name. The Village Chicks intro. Very good. Hit OK. And just want to make sure I'm still recording here. My little guy there. Let's see if I can keep that up. There we go. All right. Lost you for a second. Okay. The next part is importing, keying, and animating your logo, and then you're done. So I'm going to import my file. Double click there and go to my file, import it, and I'm just going to drag it down to the timeline. It's got this crazy green, right? We've done this in a project, but I don't want that. Adaptive resolution, I don't like that. Okay, it's looking good. It's playing back really nice. I got to key out my green. So we got to pull from that last lesson, effect, keying, key light 1.2, and just grab that green. And you notice that the chick kind of changed color. That's part of this screen balance property. If you just dial that all the way over to 100, we're back to normal. All right, I'm going to put this over here. Give myself a little more room. Rearrange things. There we go. Okay, so we have our effect there. Okay, and then finally we need to insert our logo. It's got to be behind the chick, and you got to figure out the timing and all that. So I'll grab my logo, import it. I would always import it with retain layer sizes. Don't just wildly press OK. You got to think about it. Okay, here's our logo. If I double click on my comp there, it has several layers. We can animate any layer if you want to. You can try all sorts of things. I tried to make this simple. I gave you 3 layers, and then we have a couple of circle layers here. Just kind of move them around so you can kind of see things. Do whatever you want. Animate it however you want to. I'm just going to do a very simple version of this. I'm going to drag this composition into mine. Oh, it's humongous. Make that smaller. Don't stretch it. Hold shift down. Something like that. Look back at the storyboard to see what your client wants. And then figure out where that comes in. So I'm just going to put this out of the way here. Chick walks in. The village or chicks dig me. And then your logo should come in. I'm just going to have it start right there. We could fade it in. We could make it scale. We could animate all the parts within this composition. It's really up to you what you want to do there. I'm going to let you decide. I'm just going to do a simple fade in. 10 frame fade. Kind of boring, but this is just training. So this is my final video. Chick walks in, makes a little move. Chicks dig me, the village chicks. That's it. Render out your video from After Effects on time, and you're done. Hopefully that's not too much. I'm here to help you. Watch this video for reference, and your client's there to support you too. Good luck. You can do it.